Hey, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. It's Alif Muhammad live. It's after the municipal council meeting today. Boy, it was a long one today. They still going on. It was, it was about, we left, it was like 5 hours. We've been there 12:30, and it was still going on. The big thing with it was that there was a lot of resolutions where we could make ass about and everything. And what's so funny about it, they were so much, the mayor said that people don't talk serious. Boy, was some serious talking in there today. I ain't lying. But going back to the school, I'm sitting in Jamila's office. And that's her favorite person in the world, Asia Hemingway. You know, she's a bulldog, bulldog, and she played. She was the New Jersey women's basketball for 2 years. She went to Georgia Tech 2 years, then she graduated from Syracuse and everything. She played a little bit in the NBA, WNBA. But they always played our opposition. She was always playing inside. We called her the girl Barkley, the lady Barkley. But I remember I went to see her at the University of Maryland. My son was in Georgetown. We went to see her play, man. She was battling with them big girls, man. She was holding on, man. So I had big ups to Asia Hemingway. But that's Jamila's favorite person, So I'm sitting in her office, because somebody's in my office, and they doing a phone call and everything for Gail. So we was there. It was, like I said, a hell of a day today. So this live is basically just going over my endorsements. That's what I talked about today. And why I'm endorsing is because I have a very good relationships with people that lived in the housing started, the tenants and the staff. As a housing commissioner, they knew I was on their side. Matter of fact, Eddie Osborne had been around for years. He said, "Ali, they ain't never been a commissioner like this." But I was with the people. Man. I love the people, and I still love them. A lot of them, special. They became family. A lot of the TAs and everything, they became family. So, first on my list is Gail Cheneyfield Jenkins. She's running for the Central Ward. Now, she showed off today at that council meeting. She gave them an education on what happened, what you should have did, how this went. I'm telling you to go on YouTube and watch the education that Gail gave the council. And they were listening. The more I get with her, I started with her in 95 all the way up. The more I listen to her, the more and more I'm impressed. She knows her stuff, man. And if she gets back on that, or when she get back on that council, that's what they need. They need somebody to really know what's happening. Louis knows what's happening, but Louis is more laid back and stuff. And then you had Gonzalez, who would bring things out. He was famous for bringing it down. But you need Gail. And I said something at the thing. I said, Amina Bey, who I know is a Muslim and everything, and I know since she was born, and I'm mother and father. It's no comparison. You can't tie your shoes. It's like, for instance, Amina been, since November now, the councilwoman? Nobody's seen her. Everybody's like, who's Amina? They never seen her. In my building, One Court Street, we had all kind of problems this year. We had, for 3 days, we didn't have no hot water. And it wasn't the manager's fault. What happened, the building's 60 years old and things go. So we was doing the cold water stuff, flat stuff. If anybody remember that, where I had to take warm up one pot, and that one pot, you throw 3 pots of water in, cold water. Then you do another one. That's how you to get your bath and everything. And then, man, I had a heat problem, and the coldest days, man. My electric bill, oh my God, my electric bill was $400 in was it January and December? $400. I had to go make a deal. How to make a payment plan, you pay a little bit of it. It was like totally for it. In 3 days, 3 months, it was $1,000. Because I ain't had no heat. They was trying to fix it, man, but I ain't had no heat, buddy. It was cold. So I had to use the electrical heaters. But Amina knew. I hear my neighbors in the building. Ain't nobody come over and check on us. Amina ain't come check on nobody. She didn't know that you're responsible, especially for the senior citizens. They the most needy people. And right there in City Hall, you have 10 Hill Street, or 9 Hill Street. You have 1 Court Street. You have 2 Nevada. You have Lincoln Towers. You have all these right there in the Central Ward. And she's not checking with nobody. She haven't been there since. Oh, that's right. She did come the other day to do an exercise. You know, OB came in there to do some exercise. The first time they seen her since she's elected. You know, so I don't know what she think. I think she has a different kind of corporate style. You know, something like they just tell people what to do. You know, you go do this. You know, they do this. Gail tell people what to do, but Gail gonna do it herself. Believe me, if we have a problem, all you senior citizens listen to me. If we got a problem, Gail gonna deal with the owners. She ain't gonna be dealing with the manager. She gonna go right to the owners. I promise you that. But it's so important on just her knowledge. And it will stop all these yes votes and all these yes. Like Smooth said to me, he said, how's Amina voting yes when she first got elected? How's she voting yes? She don't even know what the hell she voting on. Where generally you come in and you come in the middle thing, you say, I'm going to abstain because you don't know what you're, yes. She came right out, yes. So we don't need that. We need somebody to say yes or hell no. Hell no. And Gail is that person. Believe me. Now, for mayor, Jamal Youngblood. I picked him out in the Central Ward. He just said something in the campaign when he ran against Gail. I knew he was special. He's smart as hell. He right from Clinton Avenue. He went to some of the best colleges. He's real bright. And he believed in transparency. He believed in honesty. That's a new thing. That's a breath of fresh air in New Jersey, man. Things that you know, at the council meeting they were putting up things for sale, and they didn't even put the address. They put the things up for sale. They didn't even put the address. And then we found out some of the things was by people that if they would have said the name, it would have been a problem. So they just didn't say the name. And then Larry gonna holler at me about something. I said, Larry Crump. Larry, you let Vaughn, who was Team of Rocker, tear that place up there and there a couple weeks ago, right, Smooth? Mm-hmm. Tear it up. And Pat had to come off out of the seats, his podium, and walk him out to get him out. That's the only one who could get him out was Pat. So what I'm saying to you, don't ban nobody else against your life. And then I told Larry, I said, you are not affecting my constitutional right. And I told him to be careful. Because in the criminal charges they're looking at for the Baracas, one is, you know, getting involved with somebody's life, you know, taking their constitutional right. And it's a very important charge. I've been telling Larry Crump, it's called RICO, which means that it's more than 4 people. Even sometimes they don't indict you, what they call it, unindicted, co-conspirator. You're a co-conspirator. And if you run around trying to block for the Baracas with taking people's rights for you, bro, you're gonna be in trouble. Your mother's turn over in her grave. You know, stop that, man. Stop it. But anyway, going back to Jamal. So we had an incident. Was it Monday or Tuesday? Yeah, Monday. We at the NAACP that I told y'all about it, ran the thing. But what I didn't know to the other day, that Deborah Gregory is the president of NAACP, right? NA, whatever. And she seen Jamal at Chateau's on Franklin Street. And she went to shake his hand and she was holding his hand and she was telling him, don't bash Roz. You're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to be NAACP neutral. You ain't got no, don't bash Roz. Talking for 5 minutes, don't bash Roz. I'm glad he didn't tell me that to the yesterday because I'd have been very upset with Deborah. I know Deborah. Why you messing with my candidate? Let him run his own candidate. Then he comes in by himself to the event, and she stops again. You remember what we said? I mean, we could see the bias it was for Roz, but I mean, when I see Deborah, I got to talk to her because that was corny. Leave my candidate alone. Leave my candidate. But we go on with Jamal. If you want to change, this is the whole word. You want to change? You want to change? Jamal Youngblood for mayor. You want to change? Jamal Youngblood. And it'll flip this whole town. It'll make it better for us. Because I like what he's saying. He said, yeah, Roz, you've been moving forward for 5% of the population, not for the 95% of the population. You're right. So, Jamal Youngblood. Clinton Avenue, went to Ivy League school and everything, was gifted and talented, and guess what? He ain't no punk. I know I said that in another video, but he ain't no punk, man. Your boy from Clinton Avenue. You know, they was gonna jump down on him with hundreds of, more than 5 or 6 guys, but he wasn't scared. So let's get back to councilman at large. I'm going with my nephew, Alonzo Herring Jr. He's a former cop, and like I said at the council meeting, his father, the great Salih Salam, his other uncle, great Ahmed Abain, and these are big people that was very important in the Muslim community and the North community, and myself. We put him not to sell drugs because he came from Dayton Street. He was right in the mix. He lived right in Dayton Street, so he could easily. But his father did a good job. You know, big up to Akbar Alonzo Herring Sr. Did a good job, but even your father and them could do a good job. You could fall back into it. You know, it just happens that way. So we put in him, don't sell drugs. Don't sell drugs. Let's see how smart you are. And what he gonna do? He joined the police force and did 20 years. Until he got hurt on his arm and stuff. And then I seen his movie, he's shooting out with people. I said, bro, I didn't know you was shooting out. He said, he had a couple of shootouts. I said, go ahead, boy. You know? And he went from, he started in the city as code enforcement. He became assistant. Then he did 20 years in the police department. Then he decided to be an entrepreneur. And what I mean, he started building houses, you know, that he was renting and everything. Beautiful house. It was a nice job. You know, he turned over nice. And what he would do, if you didn't have, and this is very important, the security deposit, he would let you slide. That's big. Landlords don't do that because that's their protection. Like I say, security. He would let you slide. Then he decided to go on movies. And he did, like, I think he did like 11 movies. I mean, real movies with real actors that you've seen all over the country and stuff. I think, what's the name? Regret? No Regrets, about Newark, right? Everything shot in Newark and everything. I think he did. On Tuba, you can see 2 of them. It's 1 and 2. I think it's 3. But anyway, he did like 10, 11 movies. He did the karate movies and stuff. And, you know, because he was a black belt champion as a young man in martial arts and stuff. You know, he was doing the kicking and all that. I like that. I was like, go ahead, boy. Go ahead. But anyway, I used to always tell him, Lonzo, I'm pissed off with you, man. I don't want you to work for nobody. You could be Joe the boss. And he said, I want to serve the people. I want to serve the people. I want to serve the people. So he was chief of staff for 4 years for one of the council people, you know, that ran into a misfortune. But, you know, the good thing about the council person's misfortune, it wasn't Alonzo's misfortune. So you got to understand that. You right there, and you ain't have nothing to do with it. You did the right thing. So we're going to vote for him. And then we're going to go for Donna Action Jackson. We're going to change that council. Could you imagine Donna on that council at large? Man, wait a minute. Oh, hell no. But we owe her. No, we owe her. This Department of Violence that they done made had over 30, 40, 50, 60 million in the last couple of years. They never gave her a dime. They never gave her a grant. I said we give people $500,000 I know personally didn't deserve it. $500,000. They never gave her a bus fare. Plus, she was out there 10, 20 years all the way. Going to a problem, she always run to the problem. But I'm going to tell you why they never looked out for her. You know why they never looked? They're like, oh, she didn't fill out an act. Because she was against Roz. That's the political thing. If you with Roz, you get the grants. But you ain't with Roz. I don't care how good you do. Because like they said today, somebody said, Donna, and then what about Sean OG? That done invested into, oh my God, probably about 30,000 kids in basketball. At least 30,000. And I'm talking about that number. Out that zoo crew in that league, man, I'm gonna tell you maybe about 40 pros, NBA pros and came out of it. I don't know how many D1 basketball. You could go over there, man, back about 10 years or 15, about 15 years ago? Those jokers at NBA, or they went to college and they all went full scholarship. Right there on Springfield Avenue in the hood. But they didn't give OG nothing. I say, hey, give him something. Oh, he got to fill out the paper. No, because he wasn't with Roz. I mean, you doing something, and instead of rewarding the people that can help you, you rewarding people just because they cool with you. That's bad. Now, in the North Ward, I'm going with my man Ramos. I like Ramos a lot. I wanted Ramos to run for mayor, like I said today. I wanted him, and I was praying that he would run for mayor because I thought he would win. I thought he was going to be the first Puerto Rican mayor of North. But I like what Ramos said one day. Rahman Muhammad was saying, and I heard it, he was going around saying when Amina got elected, and they didn't come to the swearing in, and Ramos had something to do. So Rahman started talking junk. Oh man, the Latinos didn't come and everything. And I like what Ramos said. He said I had a very important engagement. He said I work with Amina in Essex County. I know her. I respect her and everything. He said, but the person that I had to answer to, he was talking about his father, died 2 years ago. Other than that, I ain't gonna answer nobody else. I like, that's a man stuff right there. Excuse me, can I say that's a man shit right there? Look, Negro, you don't tell me what to do. My daddy is the last one on this earth to tell me, and he gone. So he made his decision not to run. He's still my dude. Like I told him, he better take care of Kim Barnes down there in Grafton Avenue. She ain't no joke, boy. She'll come with you with the cane, with the walker, or she just come straight up. Born and bred from Stella Wright and stuff, you know? So Kim ain't no joke, but he got to spend more time in the hood part of the North Ward, because he lives in the North. We do a wonderful job, but you got to spend more time in the hood. Now, in the West Ward, I told you that I really like a lot Kelly. Kelly. I kind of like him a lot. I like that he was an entrepreneur, that he started his own business. He made his own bread. That's real respectful. His mentor was a dear Muslim friend of mine for years and stuff. And his first chief of staff was one of my students, Mubarak, man. I love Mubarak. That left from there and became a lawyer. And I dig him. I like guys who do their own thing. And he came out with his, I think it was the Lord's Underground, and they made money. Still making money. Well, I was talking about making money, you know. So I was a little upset. I'm staying out of it, you know, because I love Mutar. Mutar's a stand-up, and McCoy. I knew him back in the day. He was 30 years cop. He ain't no joke, you know. That's what they called the real McCoy. That was called karate. That's what they used to call him, from karate. Mm-hmm. That he was back there when all them guys like Gene Floyd and Lil K and all them guys was rumbling and stuff, man. You know. So I'm gonna stay out that race. But I was a little disappointed when I heard he didn't go to the debate, and he wasn't raised that way. His mentor, he wasn't raised that way. You know, he must have got bad information. Well, he should have met with them guys. I'm like, bruh, you was raised and you supposed to meet them on Springfield Avenue and Stuyvesant. Let's do it, man. Let's debate. But we make mistakes. You know what I mean? We make mistakes. So y'all have a good race. And then in the against the South Ward, my man, what is it? Pastor, councilman, commissioner, Patrick, council. Love that dude. Love him, man. Even though he's the second best baseball player in North, KK is number one. I just say that because I know he get mad and stuff. He get mad as hell at me and stuff. He want to beat me up when I say that, but I just say it anyway. And I love him, but don't vote for him because he Team Barack. Don't vote for him. And what he does, he let his loyalty to the mayor outshine things that he know better. I sat next to him in 2 years. And when I sat next to him in the Housing Commission, I learned so much from him. But if the political loyalty, that scared me with him. That scared me, you know, where he would change. He was telling me one thing one week, and then the next week he'd come back. And I'm like, bro, you just told me not to do it. And now I understand not to do it, and then you're doing it, but it's political loyalty. If he could get behind that, I mean, he'd be an outstanding person, you know. But we got his son as the president of the Board of Education, and he's a good father. He used to have a daughter. I forgot her name. She used to work at King's back in the day. She was in college and everything. She's a nice little, cute little girl. They used to work at King's. I forgot her name and everything. I'm thinking I got 2 more spots. I told everybody I'm not voting for Louis Gonzalez, Louis Quintana, because Louis got enough people to love him. He's loved by the blacks, and he's loved by everybody, so he got enough votes. With the ward, I'm not going in. That's the East Ward. East Ward, you don't have to go. That guy's tough, man. He serves his people. So, you know, hey, you know. They got a good man down there. I got to say for myself. I got 2 spots left. You know, I am not voting for Larry Crump. You know, I think Larry. I don't even want to say on purpose what I think was going on with Larry, and Larry really got it going on. But I don't know why they do that, man. For political loyalty, you know. I mean, I don't want to diminish him. You know, he went to Valedine, the same school my daughters went to. He went to Morehouse. He went to law. He's a great father. He's a great image. He's sharp as a rat tail with his bow ties and stuff like that. You know, he was a good son to his mother. So I'm just going to say I'm not voting for Larry Crump. And of course, y'all heard I'm not voting for Louise Roundtree Scott, who at 17 years old, I was ordered as a Muslim to look out for her. I was ordered by the old timers, look out for her, because her mother, Miss Scott, at the mansion was the first woman to ever rent spots to the Muslims. I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. So I'm talking about like 53, 54. And because people wouldn't rent to the Muslims back then. And I was taught by my older brothers, most of them did, that look out for her. And I always did. She didn't know we was looking out for her, but I'm not happy about her political thing, you know. Like I said the same thing before. I said, before, Louise would call me if a friend of mine or somebody I knew important died, and she would call me, she couldn't make it. So Alif, come get a proclamation and give it to me now. But since Roz don't like me no more, or do I not like him? How'd that go? I don't like him, or he don't like me? I don't like him, right?
Nah, he don't like you.
He don't like me. Okay, Smooth got me straight and stuff, you know. And Minnie don't like me even no more?
Nah.
But Wanda still love me.
Yeah.
Wanda still love me, his big sister. And I hope me and OB is cool, because OB is a stand-up guy, you know. She changed. She tried not to, but you know, her loyalty is not to her old relationship. Her loyalty is to Roz. You know, and her loyalty should be what's right. If you got a relationship with somebody, you know, I've been married to somebody and didn't like their sister, but I still treated them right. You know, because you got to be able to separate it. You know, but I was hard on them. People say, but I was hard on them because people are saying behind your back, people very close to you say that they don't know what happened to you when you became a politician. So that's the ball game. Let me get it down to you. Gail Chaneyfield Jenkins for Central Ward. Central Ward. She won't let us down. Jamal Youngblood going to change New Jersey. If he get in, he's going to change New Jersey. He's going to make things transparent, and he's going to make it for the Norkers. My nephew, Alonzo Herring Jr., that's an entrepreneur. So he's going to give you a different take than somebody who always had jobs. Like most of them, all them council people, they had jobs. I call them, they sucked on a titty. They all had jobs. When you got to go out there and make your own money, it makes you a different kind of person. It makes you a different kind of, makes you make decisions. Alonzo Herring Jr., councilman at large, born and raised in Dayton Street Projects, was a police officer for 20 years, entrepreneur, movie maker, and then Donna Jackson, that we owe this to her. You owe to vote for Donna Jackson, where she been giving her life up. We owe her a vote. If I didn't live in Newark, I think I would move in Newark just to vote for her. She's owed that. When all that 30, 40, 50 million dollars they put out, I told Keisha Yuri, I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. And Keisha's her friend too. You should be ashamed of yourself that you didn't make sure that somebody helped her, but you couldn't help her. See, that's what I ain't like, Keisha. You couldn't help her because you were dedicated to Roz. See, that's what I'm saying. You want to help somebody that deserved the money. You know what that money could have did for her, man, and changed her whole life around and stuff. That, but because you faithful to Roz, I want to get out of that and this stuff, So she deserved it. And I'm thinking about this Rashid, former police officer. Man, he has a legacy in the South Ward as a police officer. I think he became a captain of precinct. So I'm thinking about him. Because I got 2 more spots. But I just want to go, just want to holler at y'all and stuff like that. You know, we was in there long. I think they finally probably just finished. So I'll talk to everybody later. Walaikum assalam. Y'all have a good day. Oh, don't forget, I might not. Yes, I might be. I'll be coming back live because I want to I want to push the candidates. But don't forget about Tuesday, and let's vote. Walaikum assalam. Good night.